I used to go there and there used to be a discussion at the end of the film. I'm sitting there like really trying to not, fall asleep and all that. And then you wake up and then somebody's like, did you notice the curtain was blue? I was like, which curtain? I in fact recently read the screenplay of Substance. The font actually breaks the template, 1/2 page with just this big font, and I'm like, I'm going to write like this from now on. After the whole life cycle of Godhi Banna, I was like, for the highest quality print of Godhi Banna, I prepared myself. Like, can you do me a favor? This is the pen drive. I don't want it back. Upload this film in the land. And he looked at me like, who is this? Sunkwing Express, California Dreaming bit. I fell in love with Faye Wong. I was like, she is the most ultimate thing just because of that sequence. I try and write to a certain kind of a playlist.
If you have your phone right now, can we check your Spotify rap right now?
Sure.
Okay, so the top artists are... Hello everyone, my name is Hindol and welcome to MUBI presents Beyond Bollywood, a brand new series on Chalchitra Talks which celebrates the best of Indian cinema. In today's episode, I spoke to Hemanth Rao, the filmmaker behind films like Saptasagar Dache Yellow, Side A and Side B. And he's also one of the co-writers of Sriram Raghavan's Andhadhun. Trust me when I say this that this episode is going to be a treat for every cinephile because I've got a lot of recommendations from Hemanth in movies, TV shows and music across his favorite genres. This video is brought to you by MUBI, which is a curated streaming service dedicated to elevating great cinema from all around the globe. Get a whole year of MUBI for only Rs 12.99 from mubi.io/Beyond Bollywood. Also do watch out for a MUBI recommendation from me at the end of this episode. And now let's jump right into the conversation I had with Hemanth. Hi Hemanth, welcome to Chalchitra Talks.
Thank you for having me here.
It took a long time, but we're finally doing this. So the first question that I asked to all my guests is that, which is that first film that you remember watching which was not in your mother tongue?
I think that was Chota Chetan.
Oh, nice.
The 3D film.
In 3D, yeah.
Yeah, that was because, when it's almost like circus coming to town, right? When a film like this comes and it's sort of positioned for kids.
Right.
So a lot of parents, irrespective, I think that would be a very common answer because for my generation at least, this was the film that was like there's this new thing that has come into town, we have to take you types. So the whole experience, I don't remember the film too well, but I remember being completely, being blown away by it because it's just a totally magical world, right, that they create, and it's in 3D. So the whole depth perception and all that. Yeah, I think that was the first non-Kannada film that I saw, which really made a huge impression on me.
And you were watching Kannada movies also regularly?
No, actually, my dad is a massive film buff. He is like apparently known to, he used to travel from Mysore to Bangalore, watch like morning show, afternoon show, evening show, night show, and then go back in 4 different theatres. So in Bangalore, you have these. It's called KG Road, which is like the central part of Bangalore, old Bangalore, where there are about 8-9, more than 8-9 theatres in a very small proximity because there's a huge bus stand, railway station, so a lot of floating population. So people come and just watch films and go. So he used to do that. So, but he introduced me to Kannada films a little late. I think the first Kannada film that I saw was this really wacky film called Ush, which is directed by Mr. Upendra. He's a maverick filmmaker. So that was my first film in the theatre. After that, I've watched. It was mostly TV because going to the film was still a very expensive process.
I've heard a lot about Upendra sir's movies. I am yet to see one. There was one movie which I looked up and the synopsis said that this film is based on the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like, okay, I need to, really be in the phase to watch this. But no, I genuinely want to understand, like, what was the kind of impact that his movies had on Kannada cinema?
No, see, he's the kind of a filmmaker who very loudly broke the template, broke the model in terms of being clever and in your storytelling became a very, it started getting audience, interested in the film. It was not the actor, it was not the actress, it was the concept. Now, for somebody to do that, to sort of shock the audience, it requires a lot of, forward thinking. And he was very, ambitious, and sort of, even his titles, for example, they all are monosyllabic, like Ush, Om. One film didn't have a title; it had a symbol. So so he's very good at sort of invoking a sense of what is it, and he's really good with marketing. He'll tell you the film is for only intelligent people.
Okay.
Now, it's just a play of words. Like, you don't go to the film and come out saying, I didn't understand. Because if you didn't understand, you're not intelligent. So it's like a catch-22 situation, and he's a master of that. Like this thing where Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that can be applied to anything, any film also. But the fact that it is spoken in in contention with his films and his filmmaking is his achievement in many ways. So I like his earlier work. I really love his earlier work.
Which are like
Ush and Om are my favorite films. Ush primarily because it was like this very campy. There is a film crew that has gone to shoot a horror film, and there's a filmmaker who's trying to make the film. And while this is happening, people are dying because there is a ghost that is killing each one of them. It's like a very beautiful, it's like a thriller. It has a lot of comedy, and it stars one of the ultimate directors from Kannada called Kashinath. He plays the director within the film. And Uppi sir used to assist Kashinath. So he made his guru sort of the director. And he's notoriously, throughout the film, one thing is that he keeps speaking in innuendo without realizing it. Like he'll say, for example, Hindi, if I were to say, Andar dal de. It can be totally misconceived as something else. So he does that, but he's innocent. The joke is for the audience. I was too young to understand this while I was watching the film, but I've seen it multiple number of times. But that film was amazing. Om is iconic. It's a great film. There's another film called A, where after 20 minutes the film says the end. There's a title card, and you're like, what? So as an impressionable youngster, you're like, what the hell is happening? Because so far away from the norm. So those are some of the films.
So if someone wanted to discover Kannada cinema from scratch, what would be some of the films that you would recommend?
I think the earlier work, the early black and white films, once upon a time, the industry was so sort of known for its talent that people used to come here for stories. People, used to come here for talent, and it was that rich in terms of literature and all that. Unfortunately, it moved away from that. So there are the early works of Dr. Rajkumar, all the mythological films. Those are all really, if you just look at his filmography, just say Dr. Rajkumar Kannada films, and from his earlier works, it's like he's done all kinds. He's also done like just for the spectrum. He's done a film which is called CID 999, Operation Diamond Racket, which is like your Goldfinger. He's done that, and he's done Babruana, which is like a mythological film. So, and the way they used to make their films, the way they used to show all these big wars and drama was breathtaking. In fact, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it could be wrong, but I think Rajamouli sir mentions Mayura being a big inspiration for Bahubali. So the story is kind of similar. So, but those films are really good. There's a director called Puttana Kangal. All his films are very nuanced, very rich in metaphors, meaning, and storytelling. So his films are very, very beautiful. There's this entire subculture and underground parallel movement, which has Girish Kasaroli sir, who I had the fortune of assisting. His films are really, in my belief, Dvipa should be celebrated, should be compulsory watch for any cinephile, for anybody who aspires to make a film, because that film was so ahead of its time. And I have a very strong belief that if Dvipa was nominated for Oscars, not that Oscars is like is the benchmark, but the film was so amazing in the way, like, they create an island And it's not like some big budget sort of a thing, film. The rain sort of, create like an island in the end of the film, in the sequence, in one of the scenes. And it's so masterfully done. His films are beautiful. There is a filmmaker called P. Sheshadri. His films are, in that very art house space. Kasaroli sir, P. Sheshadri sir, B. Suresh. Their films are, they're very literature based. They are usually adaptations of classic books. And their films are very rich in grammar and craft and also storytelling. So all these films are, have massively sort of impacted me. And of course, as you grow old, you're also trying to, consume entertainment and films sort of, in theaters and the fanfare and all that. So for me, I've grown up watching Shivraj Kumar films. A lot of, that is Dr. Rajkumar's son, with whom I'm making a film.
Nice.
So I'm very happy about that. So his films, and there's a legendary actor who acted in my first film, Godhi Banna Sadharana Mykattu, called Ananth Nag sir, whose brother Shankar Nag was a legendary filmmaker. His filmography is an amazing. He had done one film called Vandu Muttina Kate, which is an adaptation of The Pearl. So it starred Dr. Rajkumar. That is also a fabulous film. Girish Karnad's film. There's a lot to discover.
Shankar Nag sir also made Malgudi Days.
Yeah. And Anand sir did like this during the 90s, these really hilarious, funny comedy films. Ganeshana series, it's called. Any Ganesha, Anand sir, this Google search should be Ananth Nag Kannada movies, Ganesha series. You will get like a list of films. So he plays these really conman type characters. It's very in the Hera Fairy space, but it's hilarious. Like there's one film called Udbhava. It's not part of the Ganesha series, but there is a, so to stop the road expansion, he comes up with the idea where, Udbhava is, Udbhava Ganapati is basically something that is unearthed on its own, like a idol that has emerged from the ground. So obviously it's like you cannot then destroy that road. So it becomes like this whole social commentary, which is hilarious, but at the same time it is sort of addressing very serious issues in our society as well. All these have played a huge role in the kind of films I do or try to do.
He had the best character in Malgudi Days, where all the stories had this one character called the talkative man in English, and he had like, you can believe his stories, you can also choose not to believe his stories, but like it was really unique.
No, the thing about Anand sir is that, I had once told him long back that if you ever go to a forest and you see a wild animal like a tiger in its own, in its own space, it's a very surreal sort of a thing where you're seeing the beast in its, in its backyard. It's so majestic and it's so graceful. And you don't see it every time. Like my dad also used to be a naturalist, so we used to go to these forest type things quite often. And I never used to get to see the tiger. The one time you get to see it, it's like, it's wow, you'll not forget it. Actors like Anand sir are like that. They're so rare, it's amazing what he brings to the table, what he does to a character. It will be one of the highlights of my career when I hang up my boots, that I got to work with somebody like him. Especially after having seen this character in Malgudi Days and, sort of, and other films, to actually have worked with him is just, I have to pinch myself.
There are always some films that have a very deep impact on us, who we are as a person. So if I were to ask that, which are some of those films which kind of define your taste in movies or like your style of filmmaking, what would those movies be?
I've not tried to think too much about this, but the point in my life when I decided I want to get into films and I was discovering sort of my own interests and all that, my viewing was, the spectrum was massively wide in terms of, the kind of films I was consuming. So I was watching Iranian films, I was watching, a lot of action, Hollywood. I was watching Kannada films, I was watching Hindi films, I was watching, Tamil films. So it's like all over the place. So I don't know if I can put my finger and say, this is the film that was like, that's like Ray, I think, very famously walked out of Bicycle Thieves and he was like, I'm going to be a filmmaker. This is what I want to do with my life. I don't have that, but there are
always films that you kind of keep going back to, that, okay, these are films that probably I find comfort in.
For me, the whole Andhadhun Truffaut series, starting with 400 Blows, I was discovering world cinema then, and it was one of the first times. There's a beautiful establishment called Chalchitra Film Society in Bangalore, where they make such films accessible for dirt cheap. Like if anybody's interested in films, you can just go become a member, and every week there's a screening that you can attend. So, and sometimes if you're lucky enough, you would have like a bigwig like Kasroli coming there and watching the film, and you could pick his brain on something and stuff like that. So I watched the whole Andhadhun series like that, and there were like 4 or 5 people in the theater. In the theater, it's a tiny place. But I remember walking out and being sort of, the experience was very unique. I had never seen anything like it. It didn't have any familiar structure. It didn't have any familiar way of telling the story. In the same, I think it was a French New Wave retrospective. So there was Truffaut and Godard. I watched Band of Outsiders. I remember watching the film and I'm like, what is the point of the film? There's no point. Like they're just reading obituary columns sitting together. But it's still, I felt something when I was watching it. I didn't feel bored. I was like, wow, I fell in love with those characters, the way they danced. I was like, this film is capturing life. Like, these are experiences maybe that I want, that I want to have with my friend, with my partner. And, it made me feel those things. And I was like, wow, this is new for me. Similarly, when I was watching Persian films, the way their storytelling is so simple. It'll be about, somebody wanting a pair of shoes and, it's so basic, but it is so human and anybody will connect with it. So, it's like those kind of films have massively impacted me. And of course, there are films which I discovered a little later into my, after I decided that I'm going to do this full time. I became obsessed with it. I was watching, 5 films, 6 films a day. So I started watching these, I always mess up the name. The Russian filmmaker, Tarkovsky, yeah. Tarkovsky and the likes, where Herzog and Kinski did this series of German films. They're very obscure in the sense that I remember there used to be another society called Collective Chaos. I used to go there and there used to be a discussion at the end of the film. I'm sitting there like, I hope, hey you, what are you thinking? Because I was like, what the hell did I just watch? I didn't understand anything. And it was very intellectually dense. And I realized that those are films that I don't like. Where people are going outside the theater and thinking, oh my God, the director is so smart. I don't want to make films like that. I want to make people feel. And make them think. If I can do both, there is more that you can learn about life and how you should live watching a Chaplin film than watching, a film which, I'm not saying one is better than the other. It's just my preference, So I started leaning towards a certain kind of films. And I did watch a lot of those films. It's like trying to understand abstract art. After a certain point, it's somewhere in the back of your head, there's this question like, is this person taking me on a ride just to make fun of the entire thing? That itself could be a social commentary, because you can intellectualize something to a point where everybody starts claiming it is art, but it is not. It's just something else. So I was sort of discovering my own. And I don't know if I answered your question.
No, it makes sense. But it's like that film, The Square, Ruben Ostlund's film, where it was one of those films which I felt satisfied that, okay, I get this film. I get what he's trying to say because I have felt this, that you over intellectualize things, that the curtains were blue because the author was
that's what that collective chaos was like. I used to sit in 3 hours. You're like really trying to not fall asleep and all that, and then you wake up, and then somewhere after that in the discussion somebody's like, did you notice the curtain was blue? And I was like, which curtain? I'm like, I always did like a 360 to check what curtain they were talking about. And you shouldn't take it too seriously too. It is a medium at the end of the day. So, but there is a certain thing that I dislike about the gatekeeping that exists, about intellectual gatekeeping in terms of, if you watch these kind of films, cinema.
Right.
If you watch commercial films, you don't know cinema. That is not cinema. You can't decide that. People will decide. It's like, it's a very subjective thing. So I don't like it when it gets into that, gatekeeping space, because a lot of cinephiles do it, and I don't understand, that sort of herd sort of thinking. Slipped in a little bit of a rant also there.
Rants always work. Every time we have had like some filmmaker or actor rant on the channel, it's like, okay, reel cutega iska.
No, and the thing is that, see, when there is a guy who's working day in, day out, and his only source of entertainment is to go to a theatre and watch his hero do something, there is nothing wrong in that. That is not lesser cinema.
Right.
It might be dumb for you, but you cannot say, what is great in that film. It can flip and say, what is great in this film? It is boring as right? So it's about making films for sort of appreciating that everybody is trying to tell a story, right? If you want to tell your story, you try and find the right kind of devices and people to go and tell that story. I understand that, practically speaking, the kind of storytelling now is sort of moving to a space where we are at the risk of doing, only a certain kind of films. That shouldn't happen, of course. But yeah, I think it should be open. That is the most beautiful thing about our craft and art form.
So something that I've noticed in all your films is that you give a lot of importance to your sound design. I'll come to the background scores as well, because there's some interesting stuff happening there as well. But sound seems to be really important to you. So which are some of those films which had a deep impact on you because of their sound design?
The unique thing about sound, is that it is not visual, in the sense that you can't remember it. It's very momentary. So you very rarely can you say, I remember this sound. You remember certain sounds, but within
like a particular moment.
Yeah, but in a film, it's very fleeting, and I think that is why the impact of it is very intangible. So I don't have specific examples per se, but the experience I remember. Like when I watched Chota Chaitan, I remember the booming, surround, like the screen and the sound together blew me away. That. And also generally the whole loudness of the theatre made a very big impression. But I don't know if there is any one particular film. Maybe Jurassic Park with the the vibration, because you could feel the theatre vibrate. But I don't have a specific thing. For me, the way I started sort of looking at it like, oh shit, while writing you can think about sound also, is when I wrote the FTII entrance. They have a beautiful, one of the most beautiful, entrance exams. I didn't take it up. I got in, but I've never done well in ACADS. So I was like, maybe this is one more thing I don't want to up. So yeah, so there was one exercise where I had to write a story as part of the entrance, where the entire story should be written in sound cues. That was very fascinating. That, I think, introduced me to the idea of sound.
Do you remember what you wrote?
I remember writing a scene about a railway station, about somebody climbing up the stairs and, trying to catch the train because the train is leaving, and you can hear the stair, you can hear the climbing, you can hear the panting, some stupid thing.
I really like these kind of entrance exams, because I did my mass media from Xavier's in Bombay, and they also have a very similar kind of, like, there are general knowledge questions and there are like these creative questions. So there was one similar question where they had given words, and you had to draw like images based on what you interpret those images as. So there was hot and cold they had given. And now I'm thinking what I can do. So I was very proud of myself when I drew this, that for hot I drew a polar bear, like small polar bear with its mom. And for cold I made polar bear drowning. So I'm like, wow man, this is some team.
Nice.
So I got in. But
Nice.
yeah, it worked.
No, but that is very, very.
Yeah.
That's the point of exams, right? I mean, it is supposed to make you think. It is supposed to make the best version of you come out.
Right.
Our education system is the opposite. It tries to, it tries to kill that version and tries to make you like anybody else.
Right.
That is what I've had to sort of rebel against. It's nobody's fault. I mean, it's how the system is. But yeah, when you do write an exam like this, you realize, oh wow, it can. A really exam that you can enjoy, that is amazing.
Yeah.
But that is nice. That's a nice answer.
Yeah. Thank you. I feel validated. Coming back to things I've observed in your films. Another thing that I liked in your filmography is that I kind of sense that there are a lot of single shot sequences. But the good thing is that it doesn't draw too much attention towards itself, because I think a lot of single take sequences are done to show that, okay, we are doing a single shot sequence, and I really like that it doesn't attract too much attention.
I'm very glad.
So what are like some single shot sequences that you've liked?
Once I got into films, right, the obsession with the craft in terms of how did they do that shot, how did they do this, and the thing for me, the holy grail was that a single take is basically absolute synergy on set. Every department has to work at the exact same time. That is very rare, right? We do it very mechanically. Like we do this shot, then we cut to this, we light this side, then we light that side. But a single shot sort of makes everything very, organic and authentic in a way. So I suppose that is why I oscillate towards that kind of storytelling, because it's almost like I want to capture it in its absolute non-mechanical form. But it is also very challenging. So I think the kind of films, I remember one single shot which really I was blown away was, this is a Romanian filmmaker, I forget, Christian Murigu? 4 months, 3 days. There's one shot of a dining table sequence where the girl has just had an abortion, and the camera slowly moves towards her while everybody's talking. Like I did, so the shot in Godhi Banna where she's sitting and there are these it's an alliance things where the boy has come to look if she's the right girl, she's the center of the attention, she's sitting in the middle of the room, and at that time she finds out that her patient has gone missing. So the camera slowly charges towards her. That was like a sort of homage to 4 months, 3 months, 3 days and 2 weeks. So I like, shots like that. I loved Rope. Hitchcock has played a huge influence in the way I like to tell stories. So Rope was like long, lengthy takes. The whole film I think is like 6 or 7 takes, if I'm not mistaken, 6 or 7 shots. So that was a massive influence. But yeah, those are the kind of films I would say which really influenced the single take.
And another thing, like my last observation sort of in your filmmaking is when I finished watching Side A, I was again, as you've heard multiple times from multiple people, that heartbroken, devastated, and you want to find out what happened to them. And then there is the small trailer-ish for Side B where you kind of get a glimpse of what is going to happen. And I kind of found it very concise and very it teases you the right amount. That okay, this might happen, and it gives you things to play with. Okay, this can happen, and it was a very well cut trailer. So, do you have any fascination for good trailers or something?
Yeah, I love that. If you look at my YouTube history, it will be 80% trailers, and I watch trailers from everywhere. Good films, bad films. I watch trailers of everything. But it's hard to get that balance right. I did about 60-70 cuts to finally get there. It always felt like I need to tease the right amount exactly. And it's not really storytelling in the sense that you're also trying to market, you're also trying to position the film, you're also trying to create hype. So and it's a very extremely rapidly changing landscape. Our audience and the world that we are in right now is so rapidly changing that we don't know that we are changing ourselves. Like the amount of addiction that we have towards our phones. So it's like, what is the right way, at what point of time? Things which really came into, I'm digressing a little bit, but I started looking, we put out a teaser very early on, months before the release of the film. And I like looking at statistics of the YouTube, what is the drop-off rate, what is the retention, how many men watched it, how many women watched it. Because that is data which can be helpful, right? And you can figure out, okay, if only men are watching it, then why are the women not watching it? If the women are not watching it, what is the reason? So I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to do my own, data analysis. I noticed that the drop-off is like 80% drop-off is at a particular point in the video. And it's not the full video. The full video is, let's say, 1 minute 30 seconds. The drop-off is 1 minute 12 seconds.
Okay.
20 seconds people have not seen. I was like, what the why? So I go back and I watch the trailer. I realize there's a small black. Filmmaking wise, it's like I thought it was perfect. That pause before we come out with something again. And people have just stopped watching that teaser at that point. I felt so angry, disappointed, sad. I was like, okay, I am going to spread this to the entire world. I've told so many filmmaker friends of mine that do whatever you want, don't put black in your teaser or trailer. People will just that's how quickly they are going to write you off.
Nice.
And that was a huge learning for me because I was like, oh, that is how they're thinking. Now I cannot change the entire human thinking. I have to adapt. I want people to watch my film. So I'm going to figure out a way. So I was like, no more that technique. We can leave it and try something else. So I don't know if I answered your question.
This is a really nice learning because we apply this to our episodes that, okay, the interesting bits need to be in the beginning. You need to have because in all through school and everything, we are taught that creative writing is introduction, body, conclusion. And you think that, okay, if I'm writing for a video, you will kind of apply to that format. But screenwriting in general, like even TV episodes, have a cold open. And there is a reason why cold opens exist because you tease something and then you come back, okay, this is where it started from. And I'm glad that it, applies to trailers as well.
It does. It definitely does. But see, there is a certain point beyond which I won't go. Where,
it's fully analytical.
It's fully analytical, and also just because I want to communicate, I won't spoil the entire design. Like I know there are lots of times, for example, when you put out audition posters and it says production house, title of the film, or production number 1, blah, 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 actor, director, contact this email address. It's written, it's taking the right amount of space from a design aesthetic. Like if you were to look at it as a A4 square design, rectangular design. Now, even though that information is there, people are so impatient that they're not ready to read the poster, and they will send it to you directly, or they will be like, "Where can I send it?" I'm not going to then make this the bold thing. I'm not going to be like, I can't. So only till a certain point I'm going to go, but beyond that point, I'm like, okay, maybe you're not my audience.
So today we're going to try out something new. And this may work, this might not work, but like let's see, let's experiment. So I'm going to give you a couple of categories. These are genres, these are like countries films are from, and you have to recommend me 3 to 5 films in each category. And I've kind of picked these categories knowing that you might be interested in these. So let's give this a shot. So I think the first category would be fairly simple for you. 5 noir films.
Touch of Evil would be right up there. Then North by Northwest. Dial M for Murder. Casablanca is not really noir, but has noir tones, elements. Does it have to be old?
Anything. Noir.
Teesri Manzil actually.
Teesri
Manzil is amazing. I love that. It's proper noir actually,
5 horror films.
I recently saw Long Legs, which is breathtaking. I love horror as a genre. The Japanese ones are usually really scary. Like those ones really, when I watched it, when I was discovering horror, there's this, it got remade into English as well, right? With the little boy, which is that film where there's a bed sheet and she lifts up the bed sheet and there's this lady who emerges from the bed sheet. I forget the name of her. Juan. Yes. Juan is very, very good. There's I think it's a film from Thailand, if I'm not mistaken. It's called Shutter.
Again, remade a lot.
But the original one was mind-blowing when I saw it, because I watched it with a bunch of friends and all guys. We were, drinking at a friend's place and we were let's watch a horror film, and we were making so much fun of the entire thing, but it was still scary at parts. Especially the finale was really scary. Not scary, but it was like a wow moment. I'm a big Stephen King fan, so I love reading, horror. What else? Evil Dead, just because of how campy and violent, and I love the remake. Somebody recommended it to me recently, and I watched it. Loved it. I really, really liked it. What else? There's a Kannada film called Naan Inna Bidalare, which I think was remade into Hindi also. It has an answer. In fact, when I met him to narrate the story for the first time, I was very nervous. And I told him the reason why I'm so scared and nervous is because he gets possessed in the film. And his wife is like this devout, good wife who prays to God and gets the evil witch away out of his body. It sounds comical, but it's, as a young kid, it left a massive impression. So the god that she prays to is Raghavendra Swami. So I, for about 3 years, slept with the Raghavendra Swami photo under my pillow because I was so petrified. And that was around the time where my parents was like, now you have to sleep alone. You have to, learn to be. So yeah, I told Anand sir this and he was laughing. Yeah, so that's I think Rekha ji did the remake version of the Sati Savitri wife in Hindi.
Okay, next is 5 thrillers.
Thrillers, okay.
I read somewhere that you had a 40 GB collection of Swedish and Norwegian.
More.
So anything from this?
I actually, it can be TV series also.
Yeah.
So before Netflix and everything, I had this massive obsession towards true crime because of Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and a lot of other novels that are written by Scandinavian writers, and Scandinavian writers are famously known for writing true crime, right? I mean, so I really got into it, and there's this show that I had watched, I think it's Norwegian, and much before Netflix and all that. So for me, the series and all, when somebody says I have a recommendation, I'm like, you have not seen the shows that I've seen. I used to have that sort of a thing, but now I don't. I'm like, okay, I haven't watched anything in a long time. So the series called Forbidisian. The primary character's name is Sarah Lund. She's the sweater-wearing detective. Amazing. I think there are 3 seasons and really gripping. There's this another Danish-Swedish show called Braun, which I think was is being remade in multiple formats. Even there were talks that a Hindi version was being done. It's the body is found on the border of Sweden and Denmark. So you have one detective from each country teaming up together to investigate. Beautiful. That and a bunch of obscure films which I don't even know what to Google like those kind of films.
If you remember like any plot or something, just tell us. I think people in the comments, they'll find.
Bridge is extremely interesting because of this. There's one more film that I had that I had.
If you remember any image or something, even like you can
describe it.
No,
that is actually, sorry. That was for that would have been for horror when Let the Right One In. That was, I think, originally a Swedish film, which was then remade into English, right? So Let the Right One In. I don't know why I thought it was a thriller. Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the original movies. I would prefer people read the books because that's far more interesting. I think I have two more good thrillers. Seven, obviously. The Korean films, any of the the Memories of a Murder. Those films, yeah.
Good choice. 5 documentaries.
Oh, documentaries. Okay. I was talking to my wife about this a couple of days back about the orca that was there was this orca that was trying to save its not save its young one died and was trying to swim with it. So we were discussing, and there's this documentary called The Cove. It's about dolphins that I really liked. There's one. I've started watching a lot of sports documentaries. The Wimbledon films. Every year, the Wimbledon films is something that I really like. I like the Netflix documentary of that the guy who he has a zoo. I don't know what it's called. Tiger King. Yeah, Tiger King. That was quite something. There's another documentary that I had recommended on other podcasts. I remember the name now. Dear Zachary. Dear Zachary is a superb documentary. Then there's this documentary. I don't know if it can be classified as a documentary. Actually, why not? Because it's storytelling ultimately. So there is this YouTube channel, a bunch of YouTube channels that I there's a channel called Internet Historian. He does this 1 hour sort of stories, and he uses these memes and it's really funny. Like his channel, he has 2 channels, Internet Historian and Cognito version. The Internet Historians are generally very storytelling oriented, where he did one about, I play a lot of games. So there is this game that was, they promised the sun, moon and the universe and then delivered very little on it. No Man's Sky, I think. So the game developers were not really greedy. They were just not ready. They got pushed into it. But they went back and sort of started delivering on the promise. So Internet Historian has sort of done a beautiful piece on how they went through it, how they, the response was. It's hilarious.
Since you mentioned 5 video games.
I recently played Metro Exodus, which is beautiful. Like I was so blown away by it. Titanfall. I like first-person shooters mostly, but I like playing all kinds of games. There's this very old game called Clive Barker's Undying, which back then you needed a good system to play. So you would go to National Market, that is where piracy used to happen. So I used to get games for cheap, $100, and we used to take the game, go to a friend who had a better system, install it and wait. So Clive Barker's Undying, I thoroughly enjoyed playing. I like games like Little Nightmare, Limbo, and these really interesting storytelling types. I think games I can just rattle out and give you a lot of options, but these I think come like top of my head.
Yes. 5 Iranian films.
Song of Sparrows, Children of Heaven, Separation, About Ellie, what else? Baran, all of Majidi's films. The one with the football offside, and that election thing where the election has to happen. So there's this guy who's carrying the it's called Secret Ballet. No, what's it called? I forget the name. There's also this one very beautiful film about a Egyptian band that gets stuck in
Band's Visit.
Is it called? They get stuck in Israel or the other way around. What a beautiful film.
It's available on YouTube for free, and it's like 90 minutes only. So this is my top recommendation to everyone. Like, please go watch
Band's Visit? Yeah. What a beautiful film.
Very nice film.
I remember watching the film and just smiling. I was like, what beautiful storytelling. Bands was it, and wow, I didn't know it was available on YouTube.
Yeah.
I used to like shamelessly. I've made it a point after I've started earning well to buy all the films officially. No piracy. But before I used to, like I said, I have TVs and TVs worth of. I have a NAS server which stores all my films, which is connected into my home theater. So
Varun Rover shared somewhere that he had downloaded a print of Masan because he said that the official, like the DVD quality compared to that, the torrent quality was much better. So I have this.
No, so I wanted, after the whole life cycle of Godhi Banna, and because I was one of the producers, I would not do it for any other film. About 2 years after we had shared it, as a filmmaker, you just want your film to be seen by as many people as possible, right? Of course, there is a responsibility to the producer to make sure that. So once that was all done and all that was exhausted, I had gone to Surathkal. There's a college event and they wanted me to be there as a guest. So I'd gone there. I made it a point to, because I know how the LAN system works in colleges, right? Because my films and my music collection was on these LAN servers. A lot of my friends used to come, take it and go back. So I was like, for the highest quality print of Godhi Banna, I prepared myself, took out, I called that guy who was like taking care of making sure the guest is comfortable and all that. I was like, can you do me a favor? This is the pen drive. I don't want it back. Just upload this film in the LAN, make sure that, whoever likes films, they watch this. And he looked at me like, who is this asshole? But I was like, please don't forget. I don't care if there's no water and food, but make sure this is there. Thank God for those kind of things. I've discovered a lot of good films because of that.
Last 5 underrated Indian films that you would like to recommend.
Underrated Indian films, I would say massively Girish sir's filmography. From Mane, Dweepa, really, really underrated, I would say. All of his films, actually. I would want... Like, it breaks my heart. I recently saw an interview of his where he is talking about how he's not sure if the prints of his film are safe, and if there's a copy of those, if there's a copy of that film. That is very heartbreaking. Thankfully, I think Scorsese's foundation has restored one of his films. The very fact that they are, doing it, and we ourselves...
it's only when someone from the outside gets involved that these films are getting saved. Nobody cares in India.
Yeah. And I don't... See, the problem is that they don't look at it as something that is of cultural value. Yeah. It's a way you store life, right? I mean, the way rapidly life is changing with AI coming in and, mobile phone technologies. I come from an era when there was no mobile phones. So I'm sure for the next generation, it is it's unfathomable to even think that how did you live without mobile phones? So it's important to have these things as a document of, the kind of stories that we make. I mean, I don't know why it's disappointing.
After we watched Kantara, so my dad used to watch a lot of movies on Doordarshan, like whatever was playing, because Doordarshan used to play all the national award winning films back in the day. So you were watching films from all over India. So after watching Kantara, he said that this kind of reminded me of the films of Girish Kasavali, Girish Karnad that used to play back in the day. So from there I discovered Ghat Shraddha, that okay, I want to watch this film. And it hadn't been restored till then. So I was looking for a decent print. And somewhere I found like a 360p print where the uploader has put like 5 logos and it's like, why? I hope somebody does something, but...
Yeah, it's very sad. Even the Malayalam filmmaker, John Abraham, even his films, they're so... Malayalam cinema, at least it's because it is very main... Even the art house films are kind of mainstream. And there is such a such a interest towards the form. A lot of prints and things I think are at least accessible. Like if I want to discover Malayalam films, I know where I can look, how I can watch a John Abraham film. Although he has made very few films, it's like it's accessible. That also is not there. Here that is the really disappointing bit.
Thank you for all the recommendations. Now we'll move to the next segment. So this is a quiz segment that we do. It's called the Cinema Paradiso Quiz with MUBI. The idea here is that I'm going to show you a couple of frames from different movies, and these are movies which either you've recommended somewhere or you have like some kind of connection with those movies. So you have to identify which frame is which films. And at the end of this round, we were anyway going to give it to you. We have a hamper from MUBI and we would give it to you. But if you like answer all the questions correctly, then the victory is much more sweeter. So, and for each correct answer, you get 20 points.
Oh, nice.
So,
okay.
If that helps.
This is like, there is like Wordle.
Yeah.
You have...
it's an image Wordle.
There is actually one...
Yeah, people have tried.
I used to play it quite regularly, but anyways, yeah. I'm actually quite excited about this. This is the... Samsara?
Not Samsara.
No, this is that...
I can give you a clue if you want.
Okay, I'll guess one more.
Yeah, okay.
In the Mood for Love.
Yes, this is from the ending of In the Mood for Love. I deliberately chose a frame which has nothing to do with what the film looks like, but yeah, thank you. You get 20 points.
Is that common that people get this?
No.
Yeah?
But
not bad,
yes. And you can watch In the Mood for Love on MUBI. So there are a lot of Wong Kar-wai movies.
Yeah, he's also one of my favorite filmmakers. Sapta, I can tell, is massively, like, you can see the influence.
Yeah, the hotel corridor and everything, it shows.
Yeah. I've seen, for me, the Chungkwing Express, California Dreaming bit. I fell in love with Faye Wong so much. I was like, she is the most ultimate thing, just because of that sequence. It's beautiful. This is Memories of a Murder.
No, this is an Indian film.
Shit, this...
My deception has worked. The reason I put this frame...
Yeah, it is with the intention of... Yeah. It's an Indian film.
Yeah.
I might need a clue.
Yeah. So, this is towards the end of the film, and something bad happens to one of the main characters in this frame. That character might be in the frame also.
This is a Marathi film?
No, this is a film you have recommended.
Is it?
Yeah.
Ayo.
There's a great song at the end also. Like, end credits has the most popular song of this film is from the end credits.
No, I don't know.
Okay, I would want you to guess this. What else can I say? It has a lot of like something. It's a Hindi film and political backdrop, and also set in a particular period.
Hazaro Khwaishein Aisi?
Yes.
Oh shit.
This is from Hazaro Khwaishein Aisi, and this is the scene where Shiny Hazra's character gets beaten up. Yeah, you can see him.
I know.
Yellow shirt.
Yeah, shit. I should have got it.
This should be easy.
This is Kavladari.
Yeah, this is from Kavladari. This car plays a very important role in the film.
Please watch on Amazon Prime.
Yes.
I think you'll have to edit that part out.
No, it's okay. Which is why I've given you this frame.
Very familiar. Is that a dice? Yes, that is a dice. They're playing Ludo on a chessboard. Clue?
So this is from the perspective of a character who's behind the bars, and he's observing this. And we have spoken about this film today.
No, it's too vague. I'm not able to. Is this? I don't remember Touch of Evil.
This is a European film.
400 Blows?
Yes, this is from 400 Blows. This is where
yeah.
he gets arrested
Correct.
He's watching.
Yeah.
So you can watch a lot of Truffaut movies on MUBI as well.
Yeah.
So there is The Soft Skin and The Woman Next Door. These are the two movies on MUBI.
My first Truffaut film is the film that is, I think it's called The Black Widow. It's very Hitchcockian. Then I later went back and read up about it, and he was trying to make a Hitchcockian film. But yeah. Old Boy.
No. Same country.
I know. You can tell. I thought this is that famous octopus eating. Clue?
So this is a conversation that's happening between two characters, obviously, and they may or may not have like some kind of romantic background. Recent film, like last 2-3 years.
Probably no. I won't know. What's it?
No, because you have recommended this filmmaker a lot of places, so I kind of felt you would see it.
Kim Ki-duk's film?
No, not Kim Ki-duk.
No idea.
Okay, this is from
Park Chan-wook?
Yeah, this is Park Chan-wook. So I'll just give you points anyway. This is from Decision to Leave.
Oh, I haven't watched Decision.
Which you can watch on MUBI.
I haven't watched Decision to Leave, which is why I have.
Yes. So do watch Decision to Leave.
I am obsessed with Park Chan-wook because his films are. But I haven't. It's on my watch list. I usually try and not watch films that are in the same space as the film that I'm making. So when I was watching Sapta, I think Decision Leave came around that time.
Same time.
So I didn't want to watch it because of that, because it gave me that vibe when I saw the trailer. Yeah.
Now you can watch it on MUBI.
I will watch it on MUBI.
Yes.
Yes, I know. This is Good Will Hunting.
Yes, this is Good Will Hunting. This is from the scene where
he talks about his...
They meet for the first time, Matt Damon and Robin Williams. This should also be easy. This is also a scene where two characters meet for the first time. In the chronology of what happened.
What? Ayo. Looks very familiar.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it a Michael Gondry film?
Correct.
Is it Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
This is from Eternal Sunshine. So
I'm actually quietly impressed with myself. I'm like, not bad. I remember this. Oh. Shit, man. I love shadow play. This is something that I would remember. I'm not able to.
So this scene involves the cameo of.
Oh wait! This is Taxi Driver.
Yes, this is some Taxi Driver. This is the scene where
Martin Scorsese is being creepy.
Yes.
Yeah, how can I forget?
This should also be easy.
Oh, this is too specific, dude. It's just a candle.
Yeah. But it's one of the best scenes in the movie from which this has been taken.
This is Lawrence of Arabia?
No, it's not Lawrence of Arabia.
I thought it's that.
No.
No idea.
No idea?
Hint?
We've also spoken about this film today.
We've spoken about many films today. Different hint.
Different hint, okay. I'm trying to think, say things which are not too obvious. recently Shyam Benegal sir passed away, and one of the actors in this film has extensively worked with him also. This is obviously from an Indian film.
Yeah, yeah. No idea, man.
This is from a film called Godhi Banna Mykattu.
Oh, shit.
This is the scene where the light goes
Light
out.
goes off. Oh, okay.
Yeah. The film you pirated.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's so strange. I don't remember my own film.
Since the sea is a massive part of Saptasagar Chelo, I thought there should be a frame related to the sea in this as well. Again, this is also an Indian film.
No, not.
You see an older man's hand, there is a child's hand.
Oh, wait.
They're doing some kind of ritual.
This is Namesake?
Not namesake. This is from the 80s. Very landmark movie from the 80s. And let's say the hand that you see in the frame is of like the main hero of the film, and something bad has just happened to him right before the scene. He lost someone very important, and now he's doing this while other stuff has also happened. This is a Tamil film.
No, I'm like really drawing a blank. This is Talapati. I mean, sorry. This is Mani sir's film.
Yeah, you were very close.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, the name is not coming.
I'll still give it to you. This is from Nayakan.
Nayakan.
Yeah. You get points for this. Again, Indian film. The image quality is not that great because the print sucked. So something that people should consider. But this is an Indian film. You can see like some kind of machine parts are being taken away.
This is Ritwik Ghatak's
Yes.
Ajantrik.
Yes, Ajantrik. This is Ajantrik. So this.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm really
Yeah.
surprised that I was able to get that.
Yeah, except your own film, you've got pretty much everything. And so what happened is that with this film, the print is kind of off. So I'll just show it. This frame. So this is the frame.
This is a. What is it? I'm not able to tell. Something burning.
Again, a film we have talked about today.
Is this water? Oh,
Yeah,
it is water.
It is water.
Yeah.
This is when an important character of the film passes away, and it's a very deeply emotional moment.
It's an Indian film.
Yeah, Indian film.
The shot like this in Kavludari. No, I don't know. Hint.
What can I say that is not obvious? This film has a lot of rain in it.
No idea. Kasaroli sir's film? Is this Dvipa?
Yeah, this is from Dvipa.
Dvipa, which shot is this?
This is when the father passes away.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So there are also some movies of Girish Kasarwali sir that are available on MUBI. So there is a Kannada film called Kraurya which is there.
Okay.
And there's a Hindi film which he made called Ek Ghar. It has
Ek Ghar,
Nasiruddin Shah.
that is Mane. In Kannada, it's called Mane.
Mane. So, but does it have Nasiruddin Shah in Kannada?
Yeah. As in, it was the first and the only time he did a bilingual. Yeah. Because he was casting somebody who could speak. So I think they dubbed it as Mane and released it. They also did the Kannada version, I think. I don't know if Nasir Sab spoke in Kannada. But there's this absolutely mind-blowing opening shot of Mane where it feels like it opens with a close-up and the character is talking to you. That is Nasir sir's character is talking to you, and the camera slowly moves away, and the way that the perspective of the character changes from it feeling like he's talking to you to actually talking to somebody. Oh, it's beautiful. It's basically a film about how cities have become really loud and how the city life is antithesis to inner peace. Quite a brilliant film.
So these two films you can watch on MUBI.
I think, but it is Sir's least favorite film, I think.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. I don't want to speak on his behalf, but yeah.
But again, like once the film is out, it's the audience.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, congratulations, you did very well.
Okay.
And you finally get the movie hamper.
Oh, nice. Cool looking bag.
This is the movie hamper.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice. I love them. I love I love, when I'm bored, I just constantly keep checking. I love the fact that they're now, showcasing films like Substance and, I think even the other film, which is quite famous, which made a lot of buzz, is also out on MUBI, if I'm not mistaken.
Amelia Perez is one of them.
Correct.
Which won the Golden Globe today.
And I think even Past Lives was on MUBI, right? If
I'm not sure if Past Lives was on MUBI.
No, not that. The Japanese film which won the Oscar a couple of years ago, the Murakami book with Drive My Car.
Yeah, Drive My Car is on MUBI.
Yeah, that was on MUBI.
Yeah. Have you watched Perfect Days?
Not yet. That is also on MUBI, right?
Yeah, that is also on MUBI, and I kind of feel that you might like it.
I love Wim Wenders.
You should, because that, like, in the last few years, I think that was a film that really, changed my perspective towards life in general. Like, it kind of makes you question that what are the things that you're prioritizing in life. It's a very gentle, very
I've heard
sweet film. So I think you should definitely.
I really like, I like watching his interviews. Like whenever Wim Wenders talks, it like his philosophy of life and the way he speaks about films, it feels very cathartic in a way. So yeah, I'm definitely going to watch it.
So now I'm going to ask you about your relationship with music. What is your current playlist like? My
current playlist is when I am writing, when I'm making a film where I'm actively in the process of writing, I try and write to a certain kind of a playlist, which sort of helps me get to that space. So I'm listening to a lot of, retro, disco type of things right now. Jazz is something that I always listen to. It's always on my playlist, and to get started and get my day going, I listen to a lot of hard rock, proper metal, Testament, Maiden, Metallica, Pantera, and stuff like that, AC/DC. So right now that is what I'm listening to. But yeah, I am somebody who my Spotify Wrapped. I haven't checked this year, but I forgot to check this year. But I end up listening to a lot of different kinds of music. I like doing that. Like I like going on Wiki and checking the albums that released in 2023. There's this huge list you get alphabetically. So I check if all the artists that I used to like, if they have, because it's so hard to keep up, right? It's so hard to, it's not like before. Before there used to be a music store in Bangalore called Calypso in Jayanagar. So I used to go to that store, and it's like you go to a place and all the new arrivals will be there. The rock section will have the new albums, the metal section will have the new albums. So you are at least sort of aware that this is the new album. Now it is very hard to keep up, especially with artists releasing singles and EPs. It's very hard to keep up. So I try and maintain a catalog for my music discovery. I have on Instagram, I have a separate tab called, I have a separate account too, sort of it's like, it doesn't have followers. I don't follow anybody, but I use it just to teach the algorithm to make me show only music.
Nice.
So that way I save a bunch of music stuff on it. So yeah.
I'm sorry, like if you have your phone right now, can we check your Spotify rap right now?
Sure. It will be quite.
Yeah, we'll get a sense of like
I don't know if
what you've been
it's
listening
still
to.
accessible. Is it still? Oh, it is there.
Yeah.
Wrapped.
Wow, you listen to 998 artists. Damn.
Yeah.
Okay, so the top artists are Daniel Pemberton, The Black Keys, Federale, Uncle, and Daniel Kjorlidjan. Is that the correct pronunciation?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's the music that matters.
Exactly.
Top songs. Number 1 is Black River. The name is not complete. Black River is the top song. Second, Binary Sunset. Third is In a State. 4 is called Lucy's Talking. And 5 is called The Devil and the something.
Deep Blue Sea.
The Devil and the H something.
Oh, no. That is the soundtrack from King Arthur.
Oh, nice.
It's a brilliant album.
And minutes listened is 13,583. So yeah, this is very interesting. I have not heard of any of these songs, but like now I'll definitely.
I don't have too many hobbies. I would say music would come very close to me having a very serious, sort of a hobby where, like I said, I actively sit down, check what is the new thing, and like sometimes I get these, like I haven't heard any Indian music in a while. Like what's happening in the Indian indie scene. I'll go spend like 2-3 weeks and then I'll be like, okay, this is interesting. Then I'll find something else. So I'm constantly looking at, finding. So I used to, when we had a dial-up collection long back, now the internet is like very easily available. We used to, I had this habit of, finding the biggest hits, the cult songs, like looking for trivia around it. I used to quiz a lot.
Nice.
So I used to download on a dial-up connection songs. So I had like 8-9 GB of music like this. And I have this thing where if I like one song of an artist, I will invariably go and listen to an entire album. If I like the album, I will listen to the entire discography. So yeah, it's kind of bad.
Yeah. A very off question, but I'll still ask. Do you remember like the first cassette you bought with your own money?
Yes, Fear of the Iron Maiden's Fear of the Dark.
Nice.
Because I remember the cover. Fear of the Dark only. Yeah. That was the.
Do you still have cassettes?
Yes, I have a massive collection of cassettes, but unfortunately, it's not. I used to make mixtapes. That used to be like my way of showing my appreciation and love towards people. I used to make mixtapes, and for me, Nick Hornby's there's this book that he wrote about a guy who keeps making music tapes and mixtapes basically. I forget it's called High Fidelity. High Fidelity is about a guy who loves music obsessively. I think works in a music store. He collects music and he keeps making mixtapes and stuff like that. So when I read the book, when I watched the movie, I felt like, this is me. I'm this character. So yeah, I don't know why I spoke about High Fidelity.
This is really nice because in the last episode we did with Vasan Bala, so we made a mixtape in the episode.
Oh, is it? Oh, nice.
So like not physically, but like an emotional mixtape where side A was his favorite songs of Ilayaraja sir and side B was Rahman sir.
Oh, okay.
So he chose like 12 songs for each side. So yeah, we're running short on time, but like we could have done that today as well. But I want to quickly shift from music to another thing that I think you really like, which is graphic novels. So what are you reading? Like any graphic novels that you would like to recommend?
Lone Wolf and the Cub, I think is a phenomenal graphic novel to get started. Any of the I went back and because of the Superman trailer and everything, I really like the Superman trailer. There's this Alex Ross, I think is the name of the artist. There's one Superman where the entire comic is painted. It's hand painted. He's an artist who, that is phenomenal. Watchmen is really nice. Conceptually, all of the difficult questions that Alan Moore poses is something that is very relevant to society. All of Alan Moore's work, Swamp Thing, From Hell, V for Vendetta, What else? I like these limited edition things that, like Spider-Man Blue, Daredevil Yellow. They're all involved in some capacity with the Marvel movies. But I discovered all this not through the movies. I prefer the comics more than the movies. I also love there's this Indian comic, right, where there's this really beefy guy and this one Chacha Chaudhary. Yeah, I really I used to really look forward to Chacha Chaudhary, but I mean they're not. I don't know if it's graphic novels, and also these war commando. If you go to any old library, they'll have this sort of 300 volumes put together. So that is a fantastic. It can just eat up a lot of your time.
I read somewhere that you gifted Blankets, the graphic novel, to your cast.
Yeah, I like to do that with every film, where I pick up a book or a graphic novel that sort of captures the feeling and the sentiment of the movie, and I give it to the lead actor. For Godhi Banna, I'd given Day Tripper to Rakshit. Day Tripper is a graphic novel written by this Brazilian. It was recommended by my wife because she really loved it. It's written by this guy called Fabian Mu and Gabriel Wang. They, I think, are the guys who behind Umbrella Academy. One of them, at least. But yeah, fabulous book.
Since you are a self-taught screenwriter, are there any books or screenplays that have helped you learn screenwriting?
I think the best way to learn screenwriting is to read screenplays and to watch movies. Yes. I make it a point to read a lot of screenplays. I in fact recently read the screenplay of Substance, and I was talking about it to a friend as well. The way the screenplay is written, you can see the film. Yeah. The font. In that scene where the chicken. Yeah. The font actually breaks the template of the script and just becomes bigger and bigger. And it's like this 1/2 page with just this big font. And I'm like, this is how script should be written. I'm going to write like this from now on. That is so, you learn. The thing about screenplay is, it is the one unifying tool that you have to sort of get everybody on board onto that vision. Right. It shouldn't be too descriptive. It shouldn't over-explain. It should be it should reflect, how well you can articulate. And how well you can articulate is very closely tied to how well you can communicate your idea to the audience. Right. So it helps to sort of read. What are the things that they are spending time on? How descriptive are they being? Are they telling actors what to do? Right. Those kind of things I learned from reading screenplays. I realized that great screenplays, good screenplays don't tell actors what to do. The pauses are there in the writing. So it's for them to read it and then find it. So yeah.
Any screenplays that you can remember?
Like you have IMDb, right? You have something called IMSB. Okay. Internet Movie Script Database, I think it's called. So you can download literally hundreds of scripts. So all the classics. Whenever I like a film that really blows my mind away, I try and go and get the screenplay and try and find out what was written, what did they do, how did they make the film, and stuff like that. So don't have on the top of my head sort of a thing.
Yeah. Any YouTube channels or Instagram handles that you would like to recommend?
I'm not very active on Instagram. I'm trying to be less. I'm trying to be less active on social media because it's
good strategy.
Yeah, it's you don't know how quickly it just drains time out of you. But YouTube, I watch a lot of, like I said, Internet Historian. Then there's this channel called Lemino, where they do it. The Malaysian Airlines thing is explained through animatrix and interesting graphics. That I really like. I like Nerd Writer, every frame a painting, I think it's called.
Every frame a painting.
Yeah, I think that would be it.
One last question that I have is that do you dream often?
I mean, I'm sure I do. You mean when I go to sleep types? Yeah, I'm sure I do. I have actively over the last few months tried to recollect what is it that I'm dreaming.
Nice.
Because
I was just going to ask, what kind of images do you see?
Because it's gotten to a point where I feel like I'm not dreaming anymore. You know, like after a certain point, you live. I've just crossed 40, so at 40 you sort of, you know, there is like changes to your body. You feel tired when when you think you don't feel generally tired. You're like, wait, why am I feeling so tired? And you feel like you're growing old. I don't know if it's psychological, if it's actual physiological. But I was asking myself, if I remember my dreams, when was the last time I remember dream? But I do dream. I mean, it's not something that I remember, but it is very visual. I try to be very visual. For a while, I did this like a religious thing where there's this book by this physicist called Surely a Joking Mr. Finlay.
Yeah.
So he in one chapter talks about dreams, if I remember correctly. So that inspired me so much. I was like, I kept a book, for a while trying to figure out, what is it that I dream, because it's so fleeting. You wake up and you write because of this whole fascination to the dream world. One of my first short films was about dreams.
Nice.
So it is a very interesting topic for me.
We got a lot of recommendations across various kind of genres and fields. And you shared your Spotify Wrapped with us as well. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, Hemanth. This was a great experience.
Same.
And I hope you had fun as well.
No, I had fun. This was really fun. Yeah. I'm actually very quietly happy with me being able to pick up, because it's quite difficult. I don't know if the audience will get a chance to see the frames.
Yeah, they'll be seeing the frames properly.
Okay. Nice.
So it's even more it's funnier for them, like just as a joke, that they are seeing the frame and they're also seeing you trying to figure out.
Trying to figure out where is this.
It's quite interesting to watch. But thank you so much for coming all the way from Bangalore for doing this.
No, my pleasure.
I hope we can do another episode soon where we can dive much more into music, because I really want to discuss your.
No, I'd love to talk about music. It's one of my, like I said, it's something that I'm deeply passionate about. So I've tried playing the guitar. I just suck at it. So I am like happy being one of those. My all-time dream job would have been to be a journalist for this magazine called RSJ, which I don't think exists anymore. So during the early 90s, they were very active, and around the early 2000s, they started phasing out because of new media and everything. So RSJ was Rock Street Journal. It was a magazine that I used to religiously pick up because it used to be India's magazine, talking about Indian bands, from different parts of the country. Oh, it was beautiful. Like, I wanted to be there. I wanted to write for that magazine. But yeah.
You will love Perfect Days. I'm 100% sure.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Nice. I want to watch
Which you can watch on MUBI.
Yes, I will watch.
Thank you so much. And before we wrap, we have some more gifts for you. So this is our Chalchitra merchandise. This is a tote bag. It has some interesting stuff inside.
Super. Oh, this is all dialogue boxes. Is
that what it is? We've tried to put like a lot of interpretation into it, but it's just cool design. That's what we're going with. And this is a hamper from Blue Tokai. They are our brewing partners. I hope you are a coffee person.
I am.
So yeah, this has some interesting coffee stuff as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So if you have watched the episode till here, use the hashtag mixtape in the comments, and this series would not have been possible without MUBI, which is a curated streaming service where each and every title is hand selected by its team of curators. Following Hemanth's recommendation, my MUBI recommendations for this week are the 2 National Award winning films by Girish Kasarvalli sir that you can watch on MUBI. The first being the Kannada film Kraurya, which is a poignant tale about an elderly woman in a village which becomes a contemplative study about the meaning of humanity. And the second being the Hindi film Ek Ghar, starring Nasiruddin Shah and Deepthi Naval, and it is a Kafkaesque tale about a young couple that moves from the village to the city in hopes of privacy and freedom. You can try 1 year of MUBI for only ₹12.99 from the link mubi.io/Beyond Bollywood. That's 1 whole year of great cinema for only ₹12.99. So do share your favorite parts from the episode with me in comments, and I'll see you very soon with another episode of MUBI Presents Beyond Bollywood.